And let's just so if you go to interfaces, you can see the management interface that you have configured. So you want to change it, you can change it here. As you can see, by default, these ping, HTTPS, and SSH services are enabled on your management interface. If I click on that management interfaces, you can see administrative management services that are enabled are HTTPS, SSH, and ping. And telnet is not enabled, as you know. It's not secure, and HTTP also is not secure, so that's why it's not enabled by default, but you can enable it. And other services like user ID and all those you can enable. And if you want to change the IP address, you can change it here, but make sure if you change the IP address right now, for example, I change it to something like 5090 something else, I will be logged out, and I will have to log in back with the new IP address. Yeah, so I've given my next hop gateway for the management traffic as 1.1, so that as I said, by default, all the traffic will use the management as the source, right? So my management has access to the internet. I'll be showing you this just in a minute. Okay, let's click OK. Now let's go to dashboard, and so you can also check the network tab. You have the interfaces here. You can check the interface that you have. I have configured the ETH11 as the outside interface, and IP addressing as 1.111. And also you can have so Palo Alto is an object-based net firewall. So that means you can create objects for every single thing, right? You can have an object for IPv4 address, IPv6 address. You can have an object for the whole address group, which is called the address group here. You can have objects for applications or application groups or service groups. So you can see all these things here, right? Services group. You have by default some created, and you can create more if you want. So that was the just a glimpse of the GUI. Now let's move on to the CLI part that I want to show you guys. So the next management option that you have is the CLI, right? As in case of all the firewalls, Palo Alto also has the CLI. So you can use any SSH application. I'm using Windows 10. So I have the PowerShell already inbuilt, so I'll be using that. You can use PuTTY if you are not having PowerShell. So I can just go on and SSH. So PowerShell has SSH inbuilt, so I can just say admin at 192. I have the IP address of the management port set to .20, and I can just log in, and it will prompt me for the password because I've already given the admin as the user. I can just do SSH and the address, and then it will ask me for the username. But in this case, I've already given the username. I'll just type in the password, and I should be logged in now. Yeah, so now if you go on to the GUI, you should see another user has logged in. If I go here, I can see I'm using CLI, and I think this is the one. Yeah, so I have logged in right now, as you can see. Yeah, so that's how you can see the logged in admins. But as I said, I'm just one admin here. You can have multiple admins log in, and you can see it here only. So let's move on back to the CLI. And this is the CLI I want to share. So you can see I am in the CLI. So CLI again has two modes basically. One is the operational mode, which is the greater than symbol that I am right now in. And this has basically limited options here. And you can use the just like Cisco devices, you can use question mark as the help case sensitive button, and it will give you all the options that you have in this operational mode, right? Mostly you'll use the show command mostly use the show command basically. So I can just type show and press tab to again for the completion of the command, right? And if I again press a tab, you can see all the possible options that you have. So basically what happens here is if I go to my this one and say a set command and tab, okay, I can see these greater than symbols here, right? So this also has significance. So you can see three options here. Uh, Either you can see the plus symbol, or you can see the asterisk symbol, or you can see the greater than symbol. What does the plus symbol and asterisk and greater symbol means? So when you see this plus symbol, that means the keyword that follows is going to require a value. So this will require a value, okay, the keyword. And then if there's an asterisk, that means the keyword is required to continue. That means this is required keyword. So without this, there is no command. So you have to use the required keyword, and then you can follow on with the command. Yeah. And then the greater symbol means that you have more options under this. Yeah. So like, let's go to this again, the PowerShell, and you can see that I have all the options as what do you say, greater than. So let me select any one out of this, set say panorama, right? Then again, if you see tab or a question mark, you see there is more to come, right? On and off, so there was more to come. Likewise, if you see ping and then space, then you have plus and the star. So to continue, either you can go with count, but count, when you say source or count, that means you need to specify a value. For example, source, then I press tab, you need to enter a value. If I go and say host, which is a required command, then I can just enter a value again, and that's the command is done. But if I go and say source, and then again start asking for a value, say 192.168.1.111, then if I say this, it will again say you have to enter host. Then again, a value, say 8.8.8.8, right? Like this. Now if I press tab, that means the command is complete, and I hit enter and the ping is successful. Now how this is ping is successful, that is again a big process that you have to follow. But just to give you an idea, if I say ping, it's not like the Cisco devices. So you have to say ping host, then only it will ping the device. So I have to say 8.8.8.8. When you do a ping like this and the ping that I did above, there is a difference. Okay, so the ping that I did above, let's take right. Okay, the ping that I did above, which is the 192.168 as the source, 111 as the source. That means this packet that exits the firewall has the source address. So you know that the ping has a field of source and the destination, right? Address IPv4. So in the above packet, the source would have been the 203.0.113.20 in this case, and it was 8.8.8.8, right? But if you think about the command itself, then let me just erase this again. Then it was actually 192.168.1.111, because that is what I specified as the source. If we check the command again, you can see source was this, right? That is the difference. Now instead, what I did in this next command was I typed in ping source and directly 888. That means by default, as I said, it takes management interface. So that means the source was 192.168.1.20 and 8.8.8 was the destination. So that is the difference. So that's why I'm saying if you don't have access in on your management interface, if you don't have the internet access on your management interface, this was not possible. But in my case, I have the what do you say, the management interface having access to the internet, so this will work. Yeah, so that is successful. So that is the CLI that I was talking about. So you know, at least something that you can start with, right? You can now that was the operational mode where you can go for show commands, and mostly you will go for, you don't have the set command. I mean, you do have, but it's not that much um, having options, set system, and then if you go settings, and then you have what, so it doesn't let you change or configure that much. So to move to the configuration mode, you have to type the command configure, and in this configuration mode you can change IP addresses, you can change, you can do a lot of stuff here, right? So for example, if I say set, so for example, if you want to change the IP address of your management interface, you will do something like set device config, and then you do system and then IP address, which changes your IPv4, and then you set the value, right? So it's now 1.10. It shows you, sorry, 1.20. It shows you the current setting as well, and then you will say net mask 192.168.1.20, and then you'll say net mask, and then the your net mask, right? And then also you can say default gateway, so you can specify the default gateway right here, or else you can just press enter here. That is also I mean, possible. So that was the set command, or even you can say set I think network, and then interface, and then Ethernet that you have. And then if you don't know what all interfaces you have, just press the tab button and you will see all the interfaces that you have. So I'm going to change the IP address of my ETH11, which is already set as 1.111. So you have to specify the type of interface that you want to make it layer 3, and then you will go for the IP address, right? IP, as you see here, it's IP and then space, and then you specify the value, yeah, something like this, and then it should be your, again, or you can just specify the CIDR and just hit enter. Now no, you don't specify. Okay, I see the problem. So you don't have a space here, and then you should say 24 and hit enter. But then again, there is some CLI. If I hit enter like this, no, not working. Just press a tab. Let's go back. I think the problem is here, which says set network interface Ethernet 1/1. So if I do without the space, it's giving error. So it's not this thing, right? So I can go here and say layer 3, and then I can say what you want to change is IP, and it says yeah, it does say that you have to specify the IP address and then the subnet mask like this, and yeah, you can hit enter. It's not a valid reference, it's saying. Okay, maybe that it's not letting you change the IP address on that interface. Let's see if I can change on. So let's see this one. No, it's not also letting you change on that one. So I think there is something that I'm missing. Anyways, that is not the task right now. So you can see that you can do this as well. As if you go to network, you can see what DHCP, you can change the DHCP. Here you can change the VLAN, all those things, right? So yeah, so that was the CLI part, and hope you understood this concept of management on the Palo Alto devices. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.